We didn't get to do Fast and the Furious because it
Oh,
closed early,
oh darn.
but we have a second pass to go back so I can make her do it then because Jen's never ridden it. The best ride ever. Hello and welcome to the ParkStop podcast, episode 16. My name is Alicia Stella. With me as always is my co-host Ian.
Hey, kids.
And today we are going to talk about some new roller coaster information and my review of Halloween Horror Nights 29.
Yay. I can't wait for that part. The roller coasters are cool, but the other part's more fun.
And I am kind of exhausted, and I lost my voice a little bit from screaming. Yay, Halloween Horror Nights!
And by screaming,
'Cause
she means pointing everything out to Jen.
Yeah, it's not so much screaming as it is speaking loudly and going, look, it's Dart! Look over there! That chandelier is made of bones! She hates me now.
So good. So good. But you did run into some people there, right?
Yes, patron supporter Ray was there.
Hi, Ray.
With Brielle, and they were actually in our RIP tour. So it was really cool to have some friends to talk to while we were running from house to house. But we'll get to more of that later.
Yep.
Quick shout out. I wanted to mention that there is a new Super Nintendo World video on the channel, Theme Park Stop, for the Yoshi ride.
I watched it. It was good.
It's like 10 minutes long, and it is the first in a series where we're just going to be doing real deep dives into all the rides and stuff. Might even get into some of the interactive stuff for the lands. But check that out. And, you know, if it does well, we'll get the next one out soon. And those on Patreon, I'm going to get out some more information about Mario Kart and Donkey Kong Coaster. I've been working on graphics, so stay tuned for that.
I'm super curious about the Mario Kart ride.
Yeah, I've been looking into it and digging, and there's still some ambiguity about whether or not the augmented reality is happening. I'm very curious to see if that comes through.
I'm curious about everything in that ride. Like everything.
Yes.
I want the ride system, how they're ever going to do everything. I'm so interested in. I'm curious. The Yoshi video is fun, guys. You should watch it. It made me excited for a short little silly ride that is Yoshi. So,
and before we move on to roller coaster stuff, there's a clothing company, and I know a lot of people have heard of them, but I hadn't actually heard of them until recently. And I placed an order for a couple shirts and a hat from Lost Bros Trading Company. It's like lostbrostradingco.com. And I ordered something because I really wanted, they had definitely not my dino shirt. And it has like the Carnotaurus on it. And then on the front, it says Dr. Seeker's Jeep Tours. And I like our Time Rover Tours. And I thought that was so cool.
That's so good.
They didn't have it. It was out of stock. So I actually called them up and talked to them. And they're like, hey, we're fans of the podcast. And we have that size in stock just laying around. We always keep one on hand. And they let me buy the one shirt. So I was super excited. But since they're fans, they let us do a coupon code thing. So they have lots of Disney World inspired shirts and hats. And oh my God, they sent me a hat that says Stupid Judy on it.
That's amazing.
And it's shaped like the Jeopardy thing. So like her name's written Judy, but the score is stupid. So it's Stupid Judy.
That's
and
awesome.
I think it's a prototype. I don't even think it's for sale. That was like a cool surprise. So, but yeah, use coupon code ParkStop at checkout for 10% off your entire first order. So if you've ordered from them before, it probably won't work. But if you're a new customer, get as much as you can and get 10% off that first order using ParkStop, all one word as your coupon code.
They have fun stuff. I looked over there when you told me about that.
So check them out, lostbrostradingco.com.
Stupid Judy.
It's so cool.
All right. So we have roller coasters to talk about today.
Yes, I was lucky enough to attend a media event for SeaWorld and Busch Gardens coasters for 2020. I went to the Busch Gardens one. Our good friend Andrew went to the SeaWorld one, right?
Yeah, I think that's where you went.
So we had both of us updating in the Facebook group
Yeah, that was
all of
fun.
the announcements for the new coasters. What's interesting is this is I think it was our second episode just about a year ago that we talked about all of the coasters coming to Central Florida, and we talked about what like a possible SeaWorld and a possible redoing of Gwazi, because we talked about
Yeah,
Tigress.
we
We knew
did.
about that, but we were kind of talking about rumors and speculation for well, we were right, it was an RMC, but we were wrong. We were wrong about SeaWorld. I really want a coaster over by the dolphins in Key West, and instead they put it over in front of Wild Arctic. And how do you feel about Icebreaker at SeaWorld?
I don't know. When I get on it, I'll let you know. I mean, it looks fun. I mean, it's a roller coaster, so I'm definitely going to go on it at some point before I turn too
I
old
mean,
to ride a roller
yeah,
coaster.
I'm severely disappointed. And I kind of I saw the permits and I saw the footings and I was like, oh, it's one of those. I'm not a fan of these new like let's squeeze in a coaster here, but it has to go forward, backward, and then loop around. Like Tigress was not that exciting for me because I want a coaster that goes somewhere. I want like Cheetah Hunt. I want it to like go on a journey and come back. I don't want it to like go back and forth in the same spot over and over again.
Yeah,
Then it feels like a fair ride.
they got to be running out of places to squeeze some stuff in over there.
Yeah, yeah, I know. They had a lot of coasters. I'm just saying, like, it's not as interesting to me because looking at the recreation that Amusement Insider did, which looks amazing, like it looks like real life. It's so good, but uh, it launches you forward and then launches you back up a spike and then launches you forward again, and then it feels like the ride starts. It feels like a whole lot of nothing there for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be fun, but again, it looks like they're just the way that it's designed. It looks like they were specifically trying to squeeze it into a space that they had,
Right,
not
right. That's like
necessarily that they. I mean, well, they've been doing good. They've been bouncing back from everything over at SeaWorld, right? So they're probably just trying to keep the rides coming.
yeah, and I get that. And like but like
But
Mako is a really long ride and it goes somewhere. And then even Infinity Falls is a pretty good for the small amount of space. It's a pretty long water ride. But this is just yeah, I don't know. I feel like, "Oh, look, we're going the same way we went a minute ago. Oh, we're going back. Oh, we're going forward again."
yeah, but they can't all be e-ticket all the time. So as long as it's
I
fun
know.
to get on and ride, then I don't really care. It doesn't have to be the best ride ever every time on every single ride. Sometimes it's just got to be fun.
It's funny to me that we have 2 snow-based areas of the park, one for the top of the world and one for the bottom of the world.
And neither is
Yeah.
where you wanted a coaster. So you need to go yell at SeaWorld for putting it in the wrong place.
They need more rides over by the dolphins, I'm telling you. It's too weighted. There's rides in the back, there's rides on the right, now we need rides on the left. Maybe even just some kiddie rides to offset Sesame Street. Um, it's opening the spring of next year. It's 95 feet high, it's 52 miles per hour. I mean, the spike is 100 degrees, so that's kinda interesting. So, like,
That's crazy.
you're going backwards up a spike, like, more than straight up. I That's kinda cool.
Oh,
I'm
that's real
actually
cool.
but it's still a back and forth, and then it has a top hat, but it's like a cute little baby top hat. So, I've seen comments like, "Oh, that's a top hat I can get behind." Like, I unlike that Jurassic coaster. So, well, we'll
oh
see.
man.
But I got to see the Iron Gwazi, which
Oh boy.
there's some like people don't like the name. I love the name because I was gonna call it Gwazi anyway. Like I'm gonna call it Gwazi Reborn or Metal Gwazi or Hybrid Gwazi. So to name it Iron Gwazi, it's kind of perfect.
Gwazi 2.0. So this was what was Gwazi was a wood coaster before, right?
It was Florida's first dueling wooden coaster, and
That's
it
what I
dueled
thought.
for like 9 years, and then it stopped dueling, and then they only had one side open. They spent a lot of money redoing the trains and even like fixing up the track because it
Yep.
rattled so much.
Oh, you want to rattle? You can come up here to Connecticut. There's some fun little theme parks with some interesting coasters.
I'm just like so used to like they have Montu, which was like dueling dragons, but it was so smooth. So like that was my favorite ride because my brain didn't gyrate. And then I would go on Gwazi, and I like wooden coasters. I like the idea of them, but that was a long coaster, and my back would be itchy from how shaky it was. Like it would shake the shirt. Well, it would shake my bra right off, first of all, which is never good. But it's just so uncomfortable. And it would give you a migraine from, shaking your brain loose away from the membrane of your skull. So they had to close it. It wasn't worth the upkeep, but they just left the wood there for so long. So it's nice that the Rocky Mountain Construction can come in and kind of utilize half of that wood and turn it into the fastest and steepest hybrid coaster in the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm actually excited
How,
about this one.
how high did it get?
206 feet.
Oh, that's tall.
Maximum speed 76 miles per hour. I think it's taller
That's
than
freaking
Shikra,
rad.
and
It's got to
Shikra
be.
is tall.
It's got to be one of the tallest coasters in Orlando, isn't it? 206. It's pretty tall.
What's crazy is they're like touting it as a family coaster.
Hey kids, you want to watch your grandparents have heart attacks? Take them on this coaster. It's fine.
Because it's got is it a 48 inch? I think it's 48 inch.
Yeah, minimum the rider height.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, it's great for families to ride together. I'm like, it has a 91-degree drop. It drops more than straight down on a wooden coaster.
It's just 1 degree more. It's no big deal.
I mean, it's got metal track, but it's wooden support, so you'll feel the give of it. It's got 3 upside down moments, like on a
That's awesome.
wooden coaster.
That's awesome.
It's bonkers.
I like wooden coasters personally. I think they're fun. I like both kinds, but I like wooden coasters. I think the give and sway in them is fun.
Right. I like the hybrid idea because, smoother.
Yep. And upside down.
Yeah, exactly. I've done Mind Blower at Fun Spot, and it has a inversion, and it's kind of wild to be on like a wooden old fashioned like lift and then have an upside down. So
It's
I like
awesome.
it.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one too.
It was great though because we got to do a Hardhat tour, so I got to go up close and see the construction site.
Oh, you got to wear a hard hat. You're gonna have to buy your own hard hat soon if you keep getting invited to these things.
Yeah, I keep
Get you
getting
a
it, but it
ParkStop
was
one.
once. Once. You're gonna find it once.
Keep. I know you gotta keep.
So far, SeaWorld parks don't hate me. Hopefully we can keep it that way.
Universal's another story.
Yeah, it was neat. I did get yelled at once. Or twice. I was actually twice. It's like, nope, 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 don't go that far. Don't go that far. We can't keep an eye on you. And then the other time was like, be careful with the wires there. If you knock that out, the construction workers won't be able to continue working. And it's like, I'm trying to get a really neat angle for a video I'm doing, and I need to step over these cords. What do you think of the purple?
I like the purple. I like purple. Like I would make a purple lightsaber. I like it.
It's definitely, oh, I would too. It's definitely different for coaster track, and it really, like, especially in the sunlight, it looks beautiful.
It's almost a figment purple. I like it.
I don't know what it has to do with a crocodile though. They changed the storyline, and now the coaster is about a crocodile, even though Gwazi was about a lion and a tiger racing like a liger. um I think it was like a mythical liger, but both sides were racing each other or something. I don't know. It was convoluted. It's a wooden coaster. Who cares? But now it's a crocodile. Still has the name of the liger, but is purple. So I'm like, okay, wouldn't have green worked better? But they already have Kumba green. Okay.
I don't know, but if you Google crocodile purple, you get some really fun images.
I'm hoping they bring some kind of crocodile exhibit near the entrance.
Oh, that would be
to
cool.
keep it, because they got tigers over by Tigress, sort of. It's close by.
Cool.
They have a Nile crocodile that is, oh god, I was gonna make a joke. I was like, it's really long. It goes on for Niles and now no. So, but it really is. It really is a really big. It's like shiny in the light. It looks gold. But at the media event, they had a baby crocodile there, and I was like, this crocodile is really cute. It almost looks like an alligator, because crocodiles normally are very ugly. I'm partial because I'm from Florida, so I like alligators. And they told me it's was it a narrow snout crocodile, I think that, or a slender snout crocodile. It's different than a Nile one, and they have a bunch of babies. So I wonder, like, you got a bunch of babies? Maybe they'll be grown by the time this coaster opens next year.
That's pretty cool.
So they might be doing a new exhibit with new narrow, slender snouted crocodile, the cute kind of crocodiles.
The cute crocodiles, they passed the cute test for
Yeah,
the
well,
Alicia cute
I mean,
test.
it was only 2 feet long and it was adorable, so I'm sure it'll be a little uglier when it grows up, but
If they're the ones I'm thinking of, I think they end up with like a big knob on the end of their nose.
that's distinctive.
All right. So 2
Um,
coasters.
yeah, and this one also is opening spring 2020, so they better hurry up.
Sweet. That's going to be fun.
But I also thought, while we're talking about roller coasters, we need to mention Primeval Whirl is alive again.
Does that count
Sort of.
really as a
Sort of.
coaster? Come on.
Yes, it's 2 coasters.
Oh boy.
Mirrored.
Oh boy.
I'm excited. It was running just a few days ago for a special event. I think they were testing it out to see if it's alive again. But no, it's going seasonal. So it'll be open during like Thanksgiving time and winter holiday, and then, probably never again, like Stitch.
Yeah. The death knell. Like something goes seasonal,
Yeah,
as they
well,
say.
Pizzerizza went seasonal, and it's been open ever since it reopened.
Yeah. I mean, they say that. That's like the saying, but it doesn't always happen. No offense to people that like this ride. It's fun if you go on with a kid, but other than that, or someone who's mature as I am. But other than that, it's kind of rickety and not overly fun.
I am a child and I enjoy it. And I have been on with a kid who loves roller coasters, and she loved it. It was one of the first
Yeah,
medium-sized roller coasters she's ever been on. So
that's the way to do it with a kid. Then it's way more fun because anyone else just they don't laugh as much.
we went on it twice in a row. That's how
That's
much she liked it.
amazing.
She's not tall enough for big roller coasters, so we have to find the like medium-sized roller coasters for her. And she was like super. She's like, yes, yes, this is, oh, it's over. And I was like, let's do it again. There's no line. And then like a week later, they closed it, and then it hasn't been back. So you know what? I'm excited.
Boo.
If at least to get one more ride on it, just like what happened with Stitch. Like get one more. Not that I like Stitch, but you want to do something one more time before they close it forever. You want some kind of warning,
I liked it better when the
So,
other alien was in Stitch's spot. But anyway,
man, that was scary when it first opened. I can't believe they took away the exploding glass.
it was so fun.
That's the best part.
I like that attraction.
It's like, did I just get glass in my eye? Oh my god. Best part.
I like that attraction. Anyway,
One little last bit of coaster news. I just wanted to mention the Jurassic Coaster because it's something we're following, but we haven't talked about it in a while. So I wanted to remind everyone that it still exists.
you mean it's real?
Someone sent me an aerial photo of all the track that's being staged over at Site B, the South Campus, and it is a lot. There is a lot of that black track just like sitting in the grass with tons of supports, and it looked like sections of stairs or something, like maybe evacuation stairs that'll go along the track. Like it is a lot. Since I originally covered it when they first started putting track there, there's like 6 times as much track there now.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm excited. But also, I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast. We talked about it on the Patreon podcast, but I'm no longer sure that Jurassic Park at Islands of Adventure is going to turn into Jurassic World.
Yeah, you were talking. We did talk about that. I think you mentioned it in the group too that you didn't think it was going to change, which is going to be really weird.
Yeah, I've been hearing from more sources that that's the case. It's going to stay Jurassic Park.
That's kind of weird. I don't. So this is the thing. As far as the river adventure, originally I wanted them to do the thing separate, but since they did the river adventure in California, I would, if only for the dinosaurs to get some attention, like some serious attention, I would like them to do that here now. But now we're just gonna have a Jurassic Island, I guess, since it's gonna be neither world or park.
I mean, it'll stay park. It just might have a character or two from Jurassic World at the roller coaster, I guess.
Mm.
Because there's no way it's not going to have Blue, but Blue's already in the land. So they're like, theme integrity be damned.
Pay no attention to the blue and gray or whatever.
Yeah, if Owen shows up, it might be a little weird, but I still think they're going to keep it Jurassic Park. It's just that they happen to have a raptor trainer there who looks a whole lot of someone from Jurassic World and is played by the same actor.
He is from
Uh,
the future.
but yeah, no, it's everything I've been hearing. They were given a choice here in Florida. It was like there is enough money to either redo the river adventure as Jurassic World or build a new roller coaster, but you can't have both because we're doing the new theme park and we need our money. And they're like, you know what? We need something new for this land, and we have all this land and we have the plans drawn up. We're just gonna do the coaster. So that was the choice.
Yeah,
They could always redo the river adventure later.
I think the coaster's smart. It'll like you can't really see the flyers, the Tyrannosaurus flyers from all over. You can mostly see it,
Yeah.
but I think having something kinetic in there is going to be great.
Yeah, this is something to see from across the. It used to be when they first opened it, they're like, we put the visitor center at the other side of the lagoon. It'll be the weenie for the park. It'll draw people back. But now they have a giant Hogwarts castle looming over top of it. So that's
Yep.
become like a new weenie where people head that way. If there was a new coaster, then people get to the park and they're like, that wasn't here last time we were here. It might draw people to the coaster.
Yeah,
Whereas redoing the river adventure ride as Jurassic World might not be such a big draw. It's still technically the same ride.
yeah. I think the movement in that area is going to be awesome. I like it. Sorry if anybody doesn't like it, but I like it, especially getting down to the waterfront and stuff like that. It's going to be so cool. I'm excited for this coaster.
Yeah, I think what it'll bring too is something that the land needed, not just the kinetic stuff, but I miss the electric fences. The walkway where they put Skull Island used to
Hmm.
be just vegetation and electric fences,
Hmm.
and it had like the little lights blinking, and it felt like Jurassic Park the movie. And when they took it away, they're really the only time you can ever see electric fences now is walking through the kids area,
Hmm.
and it says like caution high voltage, and that's like the only thing that really reminds me of Jurassic Park in the whole land besides the lobby of the visitor center. So I'm excited that this coaster will bring with it a ton of electric fences all along the walkway
this time,
across.
this time real. So when you touch them, you get shocked.
Yeah, real electric fences, but like a raptor pen and electric fences and a new fountain, like things that are like they're designing a whole new like Jurassic Park area
Hmm.
from scratch, and it's kind of exciting that it's not going to be beholden to Jurassic World or anything really. They're just kind of inventing it from scratch.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how it turns out.
Yep, I'm excited for the coaster and all that stuff too, but especially the coaster. I like more rides is good.
I'm a little scared of the top hat, to be honest. I think it's a little terrifying if it's straight up and straight down, really really tall. I'm a little scared.
You'll be fine.
But I'm excited for hopefully they have animatronic raptors in
Mm,
the beginning of the ride. It would all be worth it for that.
mm, that would be awesome. And I love blue. So,
You think it'll be called Velocicoaster, like the trademark?
oh, probably sounds like a ridiculous name that they would use.
I just think of that car, the Veloster.
I think it's better than with the typical name that they've been using lately, which is like a paragraph long. That much I like.
But Veloca just means fast.
Yeah, so fast coaster.
But it's not, but the name, like if you only use the prefix for the name, it's not the dinosaur part.
I
It's
know.
just fast.
I know. I know. It's a ridiculous name for many reasons.
It should just be Raptor Coaster. Like,
Raptor coaster.
yeah, why not? I think we can all be grateful it's not the Indoraptor Coaster.
Oh, I can't wait for this to open. This is opening when again? Next year, right?
No, probably 2021.
Oh, they got all that stuff stacked. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna let you wait.
I think it was delivered on time for when it was opening at 2020, but then they just like didn't cancel the order. So it's going to sit there for a while.
Boo. Oh well, at least it's here.
So Halloween Horror Nights.
So Halloween Horror Nights, you got to go, and I am not gonna be able to make it this year. So you got a dish. What's up? Talk to me. What'd you do? What's your favorite? What do we do? Where do we start?
Okay,
Mm,
first off, a disclaimer.
boo.
I will say I haven't been to Halloween Horror Nights in like 4 years, maybe. Or it's been 4 years since I've been, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't know. But I did go every year from like 1996 until 15 years later. So I've been to Halloween Horror Nights a lot. And then towards the end, I got older and it got more expensive and it got way too busy. And I was picking my battles and I was like, you know what, let's try Hallow Scream this year, or let's try some local haunts. So I just didn't do it every year. And when we bought a house, we're like, we can't afford, because we moved in October. It was like, we can't afford Halloween Horror Nights. And we just kind of haven't done it for the last 3 years. So this is the first time I've gone in 4 years, maybe 5. I'm bad at numbers. But just know that I've been to tons of Halloween Horror Nights before, ever since high school. I just took a
Okay.
little time off.
Mm-hmm.
But
This is a long disclaimer.
we did the RIP tour,
Oh yeah. That's good.
which I love the logic that Jen had. Was like, well, we're not going without Express. So, and then she looks up Express prices and she's like, let's just do the RIP tour.
Yes, Jen. That's awesome.
We weren't even going at first, but when we did our episode about all the rumored houses, she caught wind of some of the things that we were talking about, and I think it was like we couldn't resist it.
Oh,
Although,
listening in to half the conversation, I see.
yeah, although I think she was excited for Gremlins because I did mention that I was hoping for Gremlins, and
Denied.
just because we mentioned it on the podcast doesn't mean it always comes true. And that would have been amazing.
Denied.
But yeah, we did the RIP tour first time. I've never even done Express for the event. So, I'm used to getting a multi-day pass and coming like 5 times to try to do all 10 houses,
Mhm.
because it's just the lines are so long.
So, actually, I have an idea for the RP. For people that have never done it, why don't you walk through like where you meet up and how they line you up, and then where you guys go from there, and then we can go through the park.
First of all, I didn't know you get free valet, which is neat because it's like $65.
Yep.
So we valet parked, and you get that validated when you check in at the VIP center. We got a lanyard, which was really cool because it's free. It's like, this thing is hundreds of dollars, but the whole time I'm like, ooh, free lanyard.
Free hundreds of
And
dollars of lanyard.
they let us in at exactly 6 o'clock. I think that's when the event started.
Mm-hmm.
You can get an RIP tour for different times. The check-in times are like 6:30 or 7:30 or 8:30. And we took the earlier one. I think next time I would have taken a little bit later, because your RIP tour lanyard is also an express pass to all the rides,
Oh,
but the rides close early at Halloween Horror Nights. Like, not all of them. I think like Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket was open late, but she doesn't do coasters and I hate that ride. And Men in Black was open all night and Mummy was open all night. But that's it. All the rest, the other 4 or 5, whatever, closed 2 hours before, or an hour before the event. And the RIP tour, our tour ended about 2 hours before the event did. So all the rides were closing. So like, yeah, we have an express pass to rides, but we don't have time to ride. Like, there's no rides open. So that was kind of a waste. So I would do the later one next time and then just do all the rides in the beginning of the event. Like, all the suckers are going to the houses and we're like, let's just use our express pass and go on all the rides.
but not Fast and the Furious.
I was bummed. Yeah, I wanted to take her on Fast and Furious because she hasn't been since they built that ride, and I wanted to
Torture her.
Yes, she hates bad rides, so I really wanted to just watch her face the whole time to see the reaction.
That ride's bad enough that she might have slapped you for it.
I think she was relieved when we got done with the tour and it was closed. So 6 o'clock we go in. We're supposed to meet at 6:30, so we went and did the Mummy because that's her favorite ride.
Yes,
even though she
Jen,
doesn't like coasters, she can handle that one for some reason.
because it's fun.
And then we went and checked in at the Cafe La Bamba, which is a restaurant that used to be open but now is only used for tours. And when you check in, we had about half an hour to just sit and eat hors d'oeuvres and desserts and free drinks, not the alcoholic kind. Although everyone was in line to buy alcohol
Of
drinks, and I'm
course.
like, come on, people, there are free spring rolls here to be eaten. So I ate like 6 spring rolls, and it's just small stuff. So we had eaten a snack. We pre-gamed at Voodoo Donut,
Hmm.
We don't we don't really do the drinking thing at events like this because we're doing so much walking. So other people are pre-gaming at like NBC Sports Bar and Grill and drinking beer or whatever, and we're like donuts.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So we're eating our snacks, we're eating our desserts, a lot of pumpkin flavored desserts.
Shocking.
And our tour, we're given a little thing when we walk in, and we're grouped together. We were group chainsaw, and our tour director was Robin. She was amazing. I think it started around like at 7. So RIP tour is front of the line with your tour guide, and I think we were a group of 12. And for every house, there's 10 houses. We're gonna do every house,
Hmm.
walk through all the scare zones. And we got to do the lagoon show in a special viewing area, and took a little less than 4 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's crazy to think you could do all 10 houses and a show in 4 hours. And we had 2 breaks. Like one of them was a half hour long. All right, hang on. I have to do something with this cat.
Hi, Mickey.
Okay, so long story short, this is the only way we'll ever do Halloween Horror Nights ever again. And we're spoiled.
Sounds like a good way to
Because
do it.
um like there's a lot of backstage walking. Normally you'd walk into a line and you wait in line, and then you go do like a tent house behind Men in Black or something, and then you have to walk all the way back out to get back in line to walk all the way backstage to do another house. But because we're with a tour guide,
Hmm.
we could just stay backstage and walk from house to house to house to house. So we did first 4 houses in like 30 minutes
That's awesome. That's really
because
rad.
like graveyard games, the Nightingales, and Universal Classic Monsters and Depths of Fear are all kind of in the same area, even though the entrances are in different spots in the park.
Hmm.
So we were able to hit all 4 in a row, which is crazy. It's almost a sensory overload. There's no break in between.
Yeah, no kidding.
And talking about the houses, I didn't want to like go too much into it, and I guess there'll be a little bit of spoilers
Hmm.
because I'm going to talk about my favorite things about each house.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the Universal Classic Monsters was okay. I think I need to do it again. We have a second day pass, but without Express and without RIP tour, so who knows what we'll actually do that day.
No spoiling for
But
you.
but we've already done everything once, thank goodness. So I don't have to like. We might get one more house in. we might do. We might redo Stranger Things or Ghostbusters, but like I don't know. But yeah, Classic Monsters was okay. It's nice that it had like all of them. I like that the Quasimodo scene had the mirror gag where you look over and it looks like it goes on forever.
Hmm.
So it looked like you're up high in the rafters. That was kind of neat. I'm a sucker for that guy. I think it first started in the Gothic house where the church looked like it was really far down.
That's cool.
Yeah, you may notice I'm really big on the set design for houses.
Shocker. For anybody that knows you,
um,
anyway.
yeah, I'm all about the details. I feel so bad for Jen. She's like, I know you don't have to narrate it. I can see.
You're like, no, but I am your tour
Um,
guide.
I really like Depths of Fear, but I think that's because I like sci-fi stuff, and it's like an underwater sea base that's about to implode. And the creatures were really cool looking, and there was a lot of good special effects to make it look like you're underwater. So I like that one a lot. But I think out of the whole night, Graveyard Games was the best house.
Really?
It was long and it had a lot of creative scares. It was actually the only one that was scary. I mean, 10 houses and none of them were really that scary.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect some of them to be scary. Just fun to walk through, but I would expect something.
Yeah,
Some of the originals I would expect.
there was a lot of fun stuff and a lot of things that like, oh, I recognize that from the movie. But Graveyard Games was the only one that really scared us. Like there would be a place where you're walking through a mausoleum and it's like statue, statue, statue. Oh my god, that's a real person. Like they did it really well.
That's wow,
Um,
that's rad.
and there was like there's a long hallway at the end that's just pitch black dark with voices, and
Oh,
it's like that is actually the scariest thing.
yeah,
Just pitch black
yeah,
darkness and voices in different stereoscopic sound around
yeah.
us.
What could go
For
wrong?
some reason, that works. But yeah, Nightingale's blood pit was kind of cool. She warned us though. It was great because she gave us a little talk before we went in,
Hmm.
and she would tell us the backstory for each of the houses.
Oh,
But this one, she's like, now this one has the smell of rotting flesh throughout the entire thing. So if you're sensitive to smells, you might want to sit it out.
Ooh.
And she had gone in the previous two houses, and then she's like, I'll be sitting this out. And it's like the tour guide, she goes through these houses enough that she knows she's going to be smelling that smell in her nose for the rest of the day. And I was like, I asked her, I was like, is it the poop smell? She's like, no, it's not the poop smell. It's just the burning flesh smell. I was like, oh, I can deal with that.
Burning flesh. It should smell like bacon then.
No, it was the rotting flesh. Sorry,
Ew.
burning flesh was in a different house. But yeah, there's a lion in that house.
Yeah, I heard there's a lion.
And that was the highlight for me on that one.
Puppet?
It's because it's like the gladiator games, and I guess is there a lion in the Russell Crowe movie?
No, I don't know. I think there was. They did have animals.
There's a tiger.
There's
a tiger.
It was a tiger, I think.
Yeah, so there was a lion, and I'm walking through, and that's when it really started. And I was like, Jen, look, a lion! Because the light was off when we started to walk by it, and I waited, and I stood there until the puppets came to life and the light came on, and then like one of the employees that just sits there was like, all right, keep it moving. And I'm like, but there's a lion, and I want to see it with the light on. So anyway, we did the 4 houses in 30 minutes, and with like not nearly as much, standing or walking as we normally would have.
Mm-hmm.
So already half an hour into it, and Jen and I are like, well, this is worth it.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and we took a break. We went to Lombard's, which is a restaurant no one ever eats at.
Yeah.
It's not open during the event, and we got the whole place to ourselves for tour groups, and like a private bathroom. And now this one didn't have free food, so I didn't have unlimited spring rolls, but they did have pizza fries. So I ordered pizza fries, and I've never had pizza fries before because they introduced it in the last few years, and I haven't gone in a few years. So pizza fries were meh.
Yeah. Everyone
Needs more
raves.
seasoning.
Yeah. Everyone raves about them. But
if I was drunk, it would have been the best thing I've ever eaten in my life.
Okay, so next time get Alicia drunk, kids, and then buy her some pizza fries to see what
I
she
think
thinks.
that might explain why they're popular, is all I'm saying.
All I know is I want to try them, but I am terrified of anything that has to do with pizza in Florida. So.
Oh, it's nothing like pizza. It's just pepperoni sausage, sauce, and cheese on fries. That does not make it pizza.
No, it's missing dough, but it's pretty close.
After all the walking, I was, and I didn't eat enough spring rolls, so it was yummy. It hit the spot.
So then another 4 houses?
Yeah, there's 10 total. So we did,
I didn't know what the grouping was like.
I think we walked back. Yeah, we did House of 1,000 Corpses next.
How was that?
So we walked back behind Men in Black. I think you would have really liked it.
Gas and fried chicken.
It starts off like the facade is amazing. Oh, and right in front of the facade is the phone booth from Bill and Ted's show.
Oh yeah, I heard about that, but it's
I hadn't heard that. It's like right there in front of the facade to the right of the museum entrance, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I asked her afterward, I was like, is that really the phone booth from the Bill and Ted show? And she's like, yeah, I just found out a couple days ago. That's actually from the show, and it's right next door to where the Bill and Ted show was. So it's like a good little homage there.
And there's a phone booth there in the movie too, so it makes perfect sense.
It's perfect. So it does match. Yep. Okay, I was wondering. I was going to ask you that. So yeah, the first scene, Captain Spaulding's right there. Totally looks like him. I think it's using a voiceover dub though, so he's just mouthing it. And he's got a piece of fried chicken in his hand. He's like, "Would you like a piece of fried chicken? Welcome."
So good.
And Robin warned us before we entered. She's like, "Now, whatever you do, don't take a piece of fried chicken because it is probably poison, and you'll end up one of the 1,000 corpses." And I was like, chicken's good. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what to make of the house. It was like I was expecting more gore because the movie I hear is gory. But it was like all of a sudden halfway through, we're like, is that Santa Claus? Is that what? What's going on here? All of a sudden it turned into different holidays.
You know that the movie was originally supposed to be released by Universal. They paid for it originally, and then once they did a test screening, they said this is unreleasable.
Yeah, it's a weird hodgepodge house that doesn't make sense, and I imagine that's how the movie is.
Yeah, it kind of is, but it's like a hodgepodge of like homages to like 70s stuff. So,
like the first part was like a hillbillies in a house.
Yep, there's lots of hillbillies.
The middle
and
part was
zombies.
holidays, and then it got to some catacombs with like skeletons and decomposing bodies all around the walls. And I was like, okay, okay, this feels like a House of a Thousand Corpses now.
Yeah,
And then
that's where it ends in the movie,
Dr.
kind of.
Satan,
Hmm.
he had
Hmm.
like a big like thing on his back and he was operating on someone or something. And I was like, oh, I that must be Dr. Satan, I presume. And then it was over.
I presume.
It
Yeah, it's
wasn't.
kind of sounds like the way the movie goes. You should watch the movie maybe and see if it lines up.
Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. From all the stills I've seen, everything that I've seen in a still was like matched up perfectly. It was certainly a weird hodgepodge, and it didn't really scare me. I think like might have been missing some of the scare actors in some of the scenes because I think the scariest moment was like a creepy Santa popping out of a boo hole. That was maybe it.
Yeah, it's really not. The movie itself isn't really that scary. It's more of a gore movie, so
Well,
I
that's the
wouldn't
thing.
think
There
a
wasn't
house
that
would be
much
scary.
gore. I
Yeah, that's
think
weird.
the scare zone for the Vikings Undead had the best gore of the night. There was filleted people
Yeah,
on
yeah, I heard about that.
sticks,
I heard about that.
and there was like one guy who was ripping the rib cage backwards out of the back of a
Yeah,
person, and I
Blood
was like,
Eagle.
those were the best gore of the nights. Was that
Yeah,
scare zone? That
that's a
scare zone
Blood
was the
Eagle.
best
That's
house of the
awesome.
night.
Yeah, Blood Eagles are mean. That's a real Viking thing that they did. That's awesome.
That's creepy.
Yeah, they
But yeah,
did
no,
it.
this was.
They did it on the show Vikings.
I was expecting gore, and I didn't get gore, so I was a little disappointed.
Boo! I think it's funny
Um,
that Universal turned the movie down and now they have a haunted house based on it. It's pretty
yeah,
funny.
it's gone full circle.
Yep.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space, better
So
than I was
fun.
expecting.
So fun.
It was in because it's in the Shrek house, and I usually the Shrek house is cramped and not that great, but they did a good use of space, and they had interactive buttons for the first time,
Oh, that's
and they had like
great.
the buttons. There'd be three in a row, and it would have a smiley face, a medium face, and a sad face. It's like you press the happy face and it blows a smell in your face, and you press the medium face and it makes a noise. You press the sad face, and Jen learned it sprays you with a huge like spray of water right in the face.
That's awesome. I love it.
But and there was like a lot of those too, but like the actual memorable stuff from the movie was really well done. I think I was just happy because it starts right out with a shadow gag, the clown walking in, and then I was like, oh, are they gonna do the hand puppets? And you turn the corner, boom, they're doing the hand puppets. It
So
was right
good.
there, and like the T-Rex going down and eating someone. Oh, it was so good. I love the shadow puppet scene. No,
That
the
movie's so
costumes are
good.
all great. It's fun. It's fun, and it's a little creepy. There was a
Clown.
couple good scares.
Is there a Clownzilla?
There was the biggest character they've ever
Yes.
created for a haunted house before. It's controlled by three puppeteers. I heard. I like the little facts that you
Yes.
get from the tour guide, but yeah, it was massive. The only thing I think was bigger or more impressive was the mind flare at the end of the Stranger Things house, but only because the clown was, you can tell it was kind of an inflatable thing, kind of bobbing.
They should just leave that there. Nobody really needs Shrek, do we? We could just watch
No,
killer clowns all
actually,
the time.
it would be a fun daytime attraction, honestly, because it's
Just leave it.
fun.
Just leave it.
There was some really good lighting effects too, like backlighting, rotating, spinning light stuff with the clown in the foreground. It looked really creepy.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm so
So,
happy there's Clownzilla. That made me happy.
yeah, there's a couple of good gag moments, but nothing really too scary.
That house sounds super fun.
Way better.
Ooh.
Like I was trying to look around to see the shape of the Shrek theater and like the backstage area, and normally I can tell when I go through a Shrek house, but I couldn't tell this time. So they did a really good job of masking everything.
That's great. That's super rad. All right, what's next?
Well, next we saw the Lagoon show, and for a show without fireworks, it's pretty good. It was really trippy.
It looks cool.
There was definitely some really like it starts real subtle and it has like black and white horror movies, but then it
Mhm.
starts getting really weird. Like the mummy is there, and then the mummy starts unraveling, and then you start going into a dimensional portal through the wrap, and it's like, what is happening? But they did a great job of like projecting rear projection stuff on the like map projection mapping on the buildings behind. So
Yeah.
like the mind flare would be on the buildings behind, and then the
Oh,
characters would be
so
in the
cool.
water spray. And there was a fun part where Slimer is like projected onto all the buildings going from left to right, and then shows up in the water, and then they zap him. You see the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man walking through the city, being projected on the buildings, but it was
Oh,
cool.
that sounds fun.
The music really made it. And even just waiting, we were there 10 minutes early. and it's the sound of like flipping through radio stations, and it's all 80s stuff. And the song from the end credits from Ghostbusters is playing, and I'm like, I like this better than the Ghostbusters song. And it's like, I have no idea what the song is, but it's some.
That one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And then Never Ending Story song starts playing, like
Mm,
from Stranger Things, and I was
that would have
like,
been in
oh, this is
heaven.
perfect.
That
Yeah,
would have been in
but
heaven.
it changes the radio station at the exact moment the chorus starts. It was so annoying. And then it plays like Hungry Like the Wolf the whole way through. And then it cuts back. It cuts right back to Neverending Story right at the chorus. And I was like, yes, you teased me, but it paid off. And everyone was singing it, waiting for the show to start. Yeah, but it was a good show. It was cute. I don't know if I need to watch it again, but it was
I just like the
good for
idea of
wasting
a
time.
just like the idea of a crowd sing along to the Never Ending Story song.
Yeah, that's
Because there's really not a lot of words. I mean, the hook is the only thing that really matters in that song.
yeah. Well, no one was singing along to the verse, I noticed, but as soon as
Yeah,
that
nobody
chorus
knows the
hit,
verse. Nobody knows
um,
the verse.
okay, and I want to take a moment to just ask, and I heard people talking about it, and I didn't believe it, but Mel's Diner is overrun with children.
Huh.
At
Mel's
first,
dying.
yeah, at first I thought it was like high schoolers, and I was like, oh look, it's kind of like the real Mel's Diner in the 50s, and people like the high schoolers are hanging out after school with a milkshake. But then I realized it's more like middle schoolers,
Oh no.
and all night whenever we walked by, they're just like running amok. No one has food. They're just sitting at tables, they're talking, they're sitting on the tables like they're cool, and like they're chasing each other and screaming and playing, and I'm like, are they going in any of the houses? Why are
It's
they
the
here?
it's
This
the
is
new mall.
it's some kind of weird hangout for them. Like, are their parents paying for this? Do they have like a frequent fear all time pass and they're just
They
here every
have
night?
to. They have to.
So it's nice that they're relegated to one zone so you can keep away from them. But at the same time, I've just never seen something like this. Like last year, they had the talk of the stroller crowd, and there were too many people bringing kids, and I didn't really see kids here, but I did see about 1,000 middle schoolers all in one area.
Maybe you just won the luck of the draw and they all showed up in the same night.
But I've been
It's
hearing about this, and
that's
I didn't
weird.
believe it. People were talking about it in our group, and I just didn't. I didn't think it was true. And
That's weird.
the Universal takes this time to refurb the cars, the classic cars in front of Mel's Diner, and
Yeah.
this is definitely the time to take those cars away. Because those kids would be swarming all over and sitting on those hoods, and it would be getting ruined
Those
because
hoodlums.
those hoodlums. Speaking of, that was the best part about Graveyard Games, is that it's supposed to be like teenagers playing hide and seek and they're on their social media in the graveyard.
Yeah.
And as soon as it started, this like teen guy comes out and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, nerds?" And he sprays me with a spray can, like he's got
Oh
spray paint, and
man.
I'm like, "Oh my god, did he just spray paint me?" But it was just water. But uh, what else did we do? We did Yeti, Terror of the Yukon. That might be my second favorite house.
Really?
It's just, well, first of all, it's cold, and when you're out in the hot and you go into a cold house, it's already the best house.
Oh, that's great. Just to get out of the heat.
There was probably like 40 Yetis in this house.
Wait, that's pretty impressive that they got any of it cool. They're in a split space with that one, aren't they?
I think so. I think that's with us.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that they got cool areas at all. But yeah, okay, so 40 Yetis.
Yeah, it's you're going through cabins, you're going through forest. Everywhere you
Ooh,
turn is another Yeti. At one
nice.
point, and I don't know if it was intentional, but like Sasquatch style walking, there was a Yeti walking by above us.
Whoa.
Like I was looking up and it was like in the rafters almost, like, and I think he might have just been going to where he was going to need to be for a scare or something. But to
Mhm.
me, the scariest thing is seeing a casual Yeti walk by Sasquatch style, swinging his arms like from left to right, like in the M Night Shyamalan movie Signs, where like an alien just walks across screen. Like that
Yeah,
just
yeah,
happened. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, did you see that Yeti up there? He just walked across.
yeah.
I think the best gag of the night was there was a Yeti and there was like there's a Yukon guy in front of the Yeti, and the
Mm-hmm.
Yeti reaches his arm through the Yukon guy, and you see his arm stick out in front of the guy's gut.
No way. That's awesome.
it was it was so unexpected and so amazing. The guy's like, help me," and the Yeti goes and pushes his arm right through him. And
Oh
the gag
man.
is he's got a fake arm, and the guy is puppeteering the Yeti arm going through his own stomach and whatever.
Oh,
It was
who
so
cares?
unexpected, it blew my mind.
Who
It's
cares?
like,
That sounds awesome.
you win, Yeti. There's 40 of you. You just punched through that man's stomach. Sasquatch Yeti just walked by above me, and no one saw but me. And now everyone thinks I'm crazy. And it's cold inside. This is the best house ever.
That's awesome. I got to see if there's a video of that effect. I want to see that. That sounds awesome.
It's so good and so dumb and so good.
It sounds awesome.
So then we did Ghostbusters, and this was probably the one I was looking forward to the most. I even made Jen watch Ghostbusters because she's never seen it all the way through, which is shocking. I was shocked to my core. Um, it does a great job of like being nostalgic. It has like all the characters are doing a good job of being the characters. The sets on most of it looks really like it's from the movie, but it's
Mhm.
not scary. And it
It would,
barely tries to be scary. There's only one scene that ever really feels like it's trying to be scary.
yeah, I would think this would just be fun, like trying to play on the nostalgia and stuff. I mean, the movie had some parts, especially the first one, but
The library scene, I was expecting a little bit more. Like, it has a fusion effect of the ghost reading a book, and then you turn a corner, and then it's a puppet or a person in a suit for the scary part. And it's like, if the fusion had just turned toward us and been scary, it would have been more effective. Like, instead of having like a fusion effect that's just reading, and then you turn a corner, and from a completely different side, it's the scary face that she makes. Like, that's splitting
I
it. It should just be one.
I wonder if that happens at all. Does that happen at all? Do you think? And you just
No, I
missed
was
it?
watching her reading for a while.
Ooh,
Yeah, so it was a little disappointing. Janine, the receptionist, stole the show because she's the only one that actually gets to talk in her own voice, I think. Everyone else is just lip syncing to pre recorded dialogue, but she is just making chit chat. The phone rings, she picks it up, and it's like, "Hello, Ghostbusters, what do you want?" And it's like, oh my God, I want to stay in this room forever. She's hilarious. And she's
oh,
like, "All right, well, be careful. You probably will die in the next room." It
that
was
sounds
just
amazing.
that was the best part. But then the set design for a lot of the Ghostbusters house is really cool, and the set design for Dana's apartment is like, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Because Louis Tully is sitting there, and he's like, "Are you the gatekeeper?" And then she's in the background in her flowing, like, in the wind dress, and the
mhm.
whole skies, like the skylines behind her. And it's clearly fake, but I don't care because it's stylized, and it looked fake at the end of the movie anyway. So it matches the movie perfectly.
It's so good. Oh
But
my
it's like
god.
that. It's a lot of series of vignettes that we recognize from the movies. The Slimer scene was cute. Like, I actually stood and waited. I was like, "There's a hallway. There's a piece of glass. There's a fusion effect here. I know there is. I'm waiting until it happens. I'm not. We might not get in this house again." And I waited till Slimer showed up and came at me, and I was like, "Okay, now we can move on. Like, I don't care if I get yelled at. I'm waiting until Slimer shows up." But then physical Slimer showed up like 3 times during the ride, and that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's real cool.
And like them shooting it, I think, because I've seen footage of it in Hollywood, and I think ours looked a little bit better just for the angle that it's at. Like, I guess it's supposed to be the ballroom, but it's super tiny. But they're shooting, and he's in the center of the room, and the shooting effects look pretty neat.
That sounds fun. I want to go in that house.
And Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was okay. It's just too cramped at the end of that. Like the Zool, the Gozer scene on the steps, and Stay Puffed, I think should have just been one scene instead of splitting it into two, because then it feels too small. Two small
Yeah,
scenes when it could have been one big one.
that's weird that they split it. Actually.
Yeah, it's like, let's send this demigod back to hell where she belongs, and then you turn the corner and it's like, I could only think of one thing: the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and then it's over. And it's like, why can't we just make that one scene?
Yeah, that
Where,
would have
like,
been better.
maybe Gozer's just there, like, choose your destroyer, and then like Stay Puft comes up, and then that's it. That's one scene. Like, would that have been that hard?
Yeah. Eh,
It was a projection in a dome that made his head.
a projection in a dome. How did it look?
It looked
Besides,
okay.
okay.
It looked okay. I mean, it didn't look anywhere near as creepy as the special effect they used for the old Ghostbusters show, which was
Mhm.
an animatronic that actually changed its expression. This was just a projection of his expression changing, so it felt a little cheap, but it was big,
Yeah.
so I was happy.
Oh, that's cool.
And then it smelled like marshmallow, and then it was over. And Slimer pops up at the end because why not? Just like in the movie, actually, he does fly at the screen at the
Yeah, he
credits.
does. He
Oh,
does.
so that kind of fits.
All right. So what was next?
Stranger Things.
And what did you think?
Well, we had just watched season 3 because that just aired, and I'd kind of forgotten half of season 2. So for the first half of the house, which by the way, biggest house they've ever done,
Whoa.
and it's season 2 and season 3, and I was thinking season 3 was just going to be like the last scene in Starcourt Mall, but that is not the case. It is split like 50-50, season 2 and then season 3. So it's almost like two houses in one. And this is the one where Jen got annoyed with me because I was narrating everything. But in my defense, and it's not really a good defense, I had just forgotten all the stuff that happened in season 2. So as I was seeing it, I was like, "Oh, look, it's this. Oh, look, it's that. Oh, I totally forgot about this scene in the bus." Like so yes, I was pointing out everything as it was happening, but in my defense, I was just like remembering as as I was walking through it all the stuff from season 2. I was disappointed almost all of the demo dogs were just static. Like there was actually one part where it was just 3 statues of demo dogs in a row that aren't moving at all. And I thought that could have been the scariest thing in the house.
Huh.
And the scene in the bus, I think we happened to pass through it when there weren't any puppeteers, and that might have been why. Because I saw a hole in the top. There's like a part, an escape hatch that probably should have a dog like sticking its head through.
Mhm. Well, it seems weird that they wouldn't have anything like a puppet for a dog.
Yeah, there was like a dart eating a cat, and it's completely just a static dead cat and a static dart. So in a living room, and it's like, okay, that's I'll just look at that then.
Here's a
If it
statue.
just wiggled, if it even just wiggled a little bit, it would have been scary.
Here's a statue of Dart eating a statue of a cat.
Going through the tunnels from season 2 was neat.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they have like a smell. So it's like not only does the upside down have the little bits floating in the air and the flashes of light, and Hopper's there and he's like, "Get out of here, it's not safe," and he's got his gun, but
Mhm.
there's a weird smell, and it's like, oh, that's kind of creative. Like now we can smell what the upside down smells like. Now I had gone through the house, the Stranger Things house,
Yeah.
last year because they did Stranger Things Day. So during the day, I actually got a chance to go through the house, and I think I liked it better because it was more succinct. It could be just one season, and it was actually scary.
Mhm.
Like the Demogorgon would pop out of things. I liked that you would go through a scene in the regular world and then go through the same scene in the upside down. It
Mhm.
was creative, and they had more like room to breathe.
Yeah.
This one, because there was so much to cram in, it felt like you weren't really catching your breath on anything.
What was the mall like? The mall was in there, right?
That was really small. Like I think one of the biggest scenes was in the lab at the end of season 2, 11 and Hopper, and Eleven's closing the gate,
Mhm.
and that scene was big and impressive, and I think it was like a mannequin, but it was still impressive because it was a giant portal on the wall. But then you get to Starcourt Mall, and it's this massive physical mind flare, but it only kind of is half a mind flare, and then the wall just stops. All it was Scoops Ahoy. There wasn't any real mall setup, and there wasn't any mall afterward. It was just Scoops Ahoy.
That's interesting and weird.
Actually, Hopper's cabin with all the kids battling the mind flare through the roof was one of the
Mhm.
more impressive scenes. I thought that was good. That was really
That
well done
sounds cool.
because that one felt like you were in the whole cabin. It didn't feel like just one tiny little section of something.
Mhm.
And there was multiple kids in there, and Eleven's like using her powers and stuff, and the weird tentacle thing is sticking through the hole in the roof, and it was like, okay, that's pretty scary.
That sounds pretty good though.
It was. I mean, it's really long. It's like I that's one I want to do again because there's so much that I probably missed. because it just keeps going and because I wouldn't stop talking.
Poor Jen.
But there was only one more house, and it was us.
Yeah, I
And
heard.
originally, this was slated as the Tooth Fairy house.
Yeah, I heard. I heard Jordan Peele was involved with this and was actually pretty particular about things, and that some of
And
the
that's
stuff
what
was from the movie that was actually in the house.
our tour guide told us, that like he was very particular. And she also warned us, like, this is not a scary jump out and scare you house. It's more of like a psychological house where
Hmm.
it starts to freak you out. And she's like, I really like it because it gets under your skin, and especially if you've seen the movie. And that Jordan Peele was very involved in making sure that the blood was exactly like the movie, and that this was exactly like the movie. I didn't see the movie beforehand, but I kind of know sort of what it's about.
Hmm.
But at the same time, like, it's this is definitely one where I felt like I felt like it probably was exactly like the movie, but I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know what's going on.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it necessarily made a good house,
Yeah,
but it probably is a decent movie. It didn't make a good house.
I haven't seen the movie yet, but I did hear like some of the jumpsuits or something were from the movie because he was so particular that he just said just use the jumpsuits from the movie. So I heard stuff like
Uh,
that. So some of that's interesting.
I think the scariest part of this house for me is in the middle of the house or walking into someone's house, like a
Hmm.
living room. And there's another moment where I feel like I was the only one who noticed. There was like 5 of the people dressed in the red outside the window, just standing there. And I think they were all fake, but it's hard to tell because they just stand there anyway.
Hmm.
uh, but it was done in such a way that you're kind of outside the house right before you walk in the house, and then you see them outside, and then you see them through the window if you're looking right over your shoulders to the left. And that creeped me out, like they're standing there watching me as I walk into this really fancy modern home. And like there's stuff going on, like someone's murdering someone who looks like themselves and taking their place in front of us, and everyone's looking at that, and I'm like, guys, there's like 6 people at the window. Do you see these people? They're just watching. That was kind of creepy. And then you walk into a room, and it's like a white room with 27 rabbits. And I'm like, what is going on in
What?
this movie?
Oh yeah, I need to see this movie.
This person just sits down surrounded by 27 rabbits. And they're
Yeah, I need to
stuffed
see
animal
this movie.
rabbits. So I imagine they're real rabbits in the movie, and it takes away the fear when they're just stuffed animal rabbits. But please leave a comment down below if you've seen this movie and they're stuffed animal rabbits, in which case I take that back and this is just a weird movie.
Oh man.
No, it actually made me want to see the movie though, because the Vision Quest sets at the beginning and the middle were actually really interesting looking, and I'm curious to see what that's about.
Yeah, I want to see the movie anyway. I liked Get Out, so I just haven't had a chance to see Us yet.
Yeah, I liked Get Out, and I want to see this. It feels more like a real horror movie, but like Get Out was almost like a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is it was a weird house. And it was a weird one to end on. I think I would have ended on Stranger Things. It was more of a crowd
Oh
pleaser. This one
man.
was a thinker.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe they do it because Peel is involved, so they get to talk that up. I don't know.
Well, it was also just the way we were walking and where she wanted to end the night. So I understand.
So that's all the houses, right? We did all the
Yeah, that
houses.
was all the houses.
What about the scare zones? What was your favorite scare zone?
The Viking one, definitely, because of the weird flesh ripping open scenes, and the costumes were really good. And there was this one person dressed as a tree, and everyone that walked by made the exact same joke that, like, I am Groot, and it's like, haha, I've heard that. Yeah, I've been sitting here for days. It's all people ever tell me. Um, but there's also like pieces of giant Viking boats and the set pieces, and
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
it's a smaller pathway, so it's actually kind of scary. It was a good scare zone.
I heard good things about Zombieland.
Zombieland was okay. I think it's too spread out to be a good decorated scare zone,
Hmm.
but the zombies are pretty good. You know what was one of the funnest things in the night? The not scare zone through Springfield, because legally they can't make it a scare zone,
Yep.
has the roaming chainsaw gang that technically only roams in Springfield. And there's people come up to you and they're like, vroom, 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 vroom. And then one guy would come up to you and he would go, chainsaw noises, chainsaw noises. And it was funny every time. We
That's
walked through 3
amazing.
times, and I hear it in the distance, and then people laugh. Like people would come up to vroom vroom, then chainsaw noises, and he would say it so jarringly, it actually was scary.
Oh
Um,
man.
Funniest guy of the night. And it still worked. I was like, maybe he's doing that because it doesn't work. But then I'd see him go vroom, 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 like with the thing, like vroom, vroom, vroom. So I know his thing worked. He was just being silly.
He's having
Really
fun.
stood out.
That's great.
Vanity Ball had some really good costumes or makeup effects where people's like faces were peeled open and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So like that looked cool. But and like they have like a fashion show thing going on where someone's talking and they're being pretty catty and talking about, and then you sir need some work done, how would you like a second nose, like I don't know, it just keeps going nonstop. And then there's like two surgery things where they're always doing a little bit of surgery on someone. And it was okay, it was well done, I just didn't care. In arcade, and arcade looks really good, like it's great photo ops with the neon giant arcade cabinets, but it's not scary and there's really nothing there. But you know what, the one in front of Shrek never really has anything going for him.
Yeah.
And then being in a music video for Rob Zombie Hellbelly Deluxe, I think Jen said that was her least favorite, and I was like, yeah, but I own this album, so I like at least the music. I was like, look, there's the Dracula. It's really just three separate photo ops with Rob Zombie music playing and women dancing on towers.
They have little the Living Dead girl there too. I saw pictures of her.
Yeah, see, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I saw one guy and I was like, look, it's Rob Zombie. Wouldn't it be weird if it was? Like he's got makeup on and he's got the long hair and like no one knows it's really him.
He's just hanging out.
I think that's all the scare zones, right?
Yeah, that's everything.
The Zombieland, the car from the movies, and had a little Twinkie on the front of it. And I liked that. But they couldn't use the real brand name for Hostess or whatever, so the truck has a fake name on it and it's got fake snowballs inside. But that was really Twinkie the Kid strapped to the front of their car, but like they ripped off a little piece of the name so it doesn't say Twinkie on it.
That's great.
So like, don't sue us. But yeah, Vikings won the night.
I can't wait for part 2, the Zombieland, the double tap movie. I can't wait for it.
When does that come out?
Soon, I think, actually.
Yeah, that's weird to walk through a scare zone before the movie comes out.
It's probably in the middle.
Everything was pretty much based on the first movie, even though it was called Double Tap.
Yeah, I saw like the tower, the drop ride stuff all mocked up for the scare zone. So
what's neat though is I did like the rules are spray painted all around the land. So like it would just randomly say like rule number 12, limber up or whatever, rule number whatever, enjoy the little things, the finer things, rule number 5 or whatever it is, beware of bathrooms, and it's the porta potties, and if you open it up there's a dead person inside.
So awesome. Yeah, that sounds fun. I probably would have had fun in there.
So yeah, other than doing it a little bit later so we can get on some rides with our express pass, it was like perfect. Not having to walk all the way back to the car and getting valet for free was also nice at the end of the night.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about Universal. This is a long way back to your car.
We might not go every year, but when we do, we're probably going to do it this way. We've been spoiled. There is no going back now.
It sounds like the best way to do it. Everyone, especially with how crowded it gets now.
I think we decided we're just going to save up for 3 years and go every 3 years. I would rather miss it for 2 years than go every year and have to wait in line.
Yeah, I don't like lines. Not even a little bit.
Although it wasn't so bad last night. I think the lines are a little low. Even Ghostbusters said 60-minute wait, but people were saying it was only 30 minutes. So it could be worse.
I've been hearing some of the nights have been quieter than usual. So I don't know if it was because of the storm or what, but I've heard from a few different people. It's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, I think the first few weeks. The first week was from the storm and because it's really early. But it's always quieter earlier. As we get closer to Halloween, it's going to get more insane.
Yay, people. More kids to mess up Mel's.
At least they stay there. Like, Richter's was open and that wasn't overrun with children. I don't understand. If anyone has any idea what's going on, are they handing out flyers around middle schools? What is happening? Is this an unofficial party? Is there a Facebook group like the storming Area 51 and it's just like Storm Mel's Diner? What is happening?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird thing to land on.
If next year they have more houses that I really want to do, I'm going to be sad because I'm going to have to find money out of nowhere. Like if Gremlins shows up, we're going next year.
Oh yeah, but Jen will probably be into that. She'll be stoked.
Right, that's pretty much the only thing that'll probably bring us in.
So there you go, Universal. Just do Gremlins. Be all good.
If you want my money, just please supply unlimited spring rolls. And it was cool that the free food that we got for the RIP tour, a lot of it was from the park. I wish they had twisted taters and pizza fries. That would have been even better. But like the street corn and the spring rolls and a couple other things were from the Star Court area, from the tents. So it was actually food from the event, just like all here is hors d'oeuvres.
Interesting. That's pretty cool. You don't have to try everything and pay for it. You just sit there and eat.
Yeah, unlimited nachos,
Well, that sounds
queso dip.
horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. Before we go, I wanted to mention that Ian and I have started a new exclusive Patreon podcast series. I mean, we're always doing episodes for our exclusive Patreon podcast, but now we're doing a specific series where we are talking about individual rides per episode, and we just started with Alfred Hitchcock, The Art of Making Movies.
But not Shrek.
Well, I mean, we talked about Shrek a little bit.
That's all Shrek's getting.
And how it tore away the beautiful attraction from us.
Oh, so heartbreaking. Poor Hitchcock.
So yeah, be sure to join if you're not already. Become a patron for as little as $1 a month. Patreon.com/themeparkstop. And we'll be doing more and more of these. In addition to our other exclusive episodes, we'll be talking about all the rides at Universal Studios Florida and eventually all theme parks ever.
I'm going to probably die before that happens, but we'll try.
We'll at least get Universal Studios Florida with like lots of fun facts and
all the theme parks ever.
Bad impressions of Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, the next one. Oh my goodness.
It was pretty good.
Next one's Hanna-Barbera.
Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera. There's so many opportunities.
All of the
Thanks
voices.
for joining in the ride. I'll see you on the outside. Yay. All right, so that's not good. I lost my voice from screaming. Screaming man. Thing is like, look at that. Look at that chandelier. It's made of bones. It's made of bones. Look up. A Yeti just walked by. I swear, a Yeti walked by. It was up in the rafters.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jen.
All right.
Yeah, those are fun. We can't wait to do some more of those. So, Patreon kids.
That's all.
Go.
Bye.
Yep, we're good. Bye.
See ya.